The champagne pop from my neighbor's festivity resonated against our wall at 11:59 p.m. I remained unfazed. Seated on the floor, leaning against the sofa, I observed the city pause as if in anticipation through the window. My phone lay silent and face down. They deemed me the issue, a convenient conclusion. At precisely 12:01 a.m., my phone vibrated, seemingly in expectation of the event all night. "What have you done?" asked my brother, presumptuous of guilt. Dad had just learned the news, and I urged him to summon an ambulance. I instructed him to breathe. I didn't provide any further information because this wasn't unexpected. It was a matter of timing. We had counted down together in the past, me, my brother, our parents, a disorganized table, and muted fireworks. As Dad would say, explosions were for those who couldn't think. He took pride in that statement, as well as many other things. His business, his status, his ability to dominate a room without raising his voice. He instilled in me the importance of control. He simply didn't envision I'd master it so thoroughly. I was the reliable one, the one who resolved issues before they escalated into public spectacles. When my marriage disintegrated, I maintained silence about it. Upon its dissolution, I signed the divorce papers without requesting anything beyond my name back. There was no fuss, no social media updates, no chaos. Hence, when my family advised me against visiting, hinting that my presence would make everyone uneasy, I deciphered their underlying message. They had sided with him. The man who would deceive me, I encountered in a courthouse hallway redolent of old paper and coffee. He politely held the door open for me, flashing what appeared to be a genuine smile. We constructed something systematic and tidy together. I placed my trust in him because he communicated facts, because he pledged to do as he said until he ceased to do so. The betrayal began with unexplained absences, laughter that didn't reach his eyes, a phone always screen down, ironic considering the circumstances, subtle alterations. The type you convince yourself to overlook because acknowledging them would necessitate a decision. Evidence arrived subtly, a forwarded meeting invite, a misplaced expense report, a name known from my father's business dinners, a woman exuding power like fragrance. I didn't weep, I catalogued. When I addressed him, he apologized as professionals often do, cautiously, with stipulations. He presumed I would bargain away my dignity much like I negotiated contracts. That was when something stilled within me, a chilling, methodical calm. I ceased reacting, started planning. Justice isn't boisterous, it's meticulous. I didn't release falsehoods, I constructed truths, I traced the money. It took weeks, sleepless nights. I discovered which accounts required signatures, which meetings had minutes recorded, which emails were automatically archived. I learned how my father's corporation polished its image while concealing risk. I learned who authorized what when no one was watching. I waited until all facts were compiled, until the story unfolded naturally. Then I sent it to a journalist fond of footnotes. 11:58 p.m., the first article fell, meticulously crafted without accusations, simply presenting numbers and documents that cause markets to flinch. A second arrived at midnight, tying the threads together, naming individuals, quoting a former compliance officer who had been ignored. My phone remained screen down. At 12:01 a.m., my brother phoned. Dad had often said explosions were for those lacking in thought. He didn't hear the explosion, he felt the collapse. The clash occurred days later in a mirrored conference room where everyone was reflected back to themselves. My father seemed smaller, older. My former partner avoided eye contact. They sought explanations. They wanted to understand why I had done this to the family. I shared the truth gently. "I didn't do this to you," I said. "I stopped shielding you." My ex tried to speak, but I held up a hand. "Control is crucial." "You relied on my silence," I said. "You counted on me being reasonable." "You were correct. This was a rational move." The room felt more hollow, the glass buzzed. For the first time in years, my father truly gazed at me. He saw the toll, he recognized the ledger was even. The consequences were exact. Resignations disguised as retirements, accounts halted for review, a board reorganized due to necessity, not compassion. My ex lost clients initially, then his reputation. He phoned once, but I didn't pick up. I didn't need to. I returned home, opened the window, allowed the city's din to return. I pondered the word awkward, how they had wielded it like a weapon, and how my silence had been my legacy, which I carefully preserved. I wasn't sorrowful, I was concluded. Justice doesn't seek consent, it waits. Then it manifests precisely when due. At 12:01 a.m. the year switched. So did everything else.